Hello everyone, my name is Deepak and I'm a tax code advisor. This Wealth Summit is going to be focused quite a bit on real estate and some of the advanced tax planning techniques. And in order to help you guys evaluate what is happening in the real estate market, I'm compiling very specific data for areas where you are interested in. So if you're planning on coming to Wealth Summit, I think you will love this report. Because this report has to be manually created for different zip codes, I think the valuation of this report can be, easily maybe $500,000 depending upon how many people request different areas. So far, I have about 35 areas that people have requested. So if you're coming to Wealth Summit, you will get this data for all of these zip codes, and more than likely, probably be more by the time we all go to Wealth Summit. Might be 100, 150 zip codes. It's a lot of tedious work because we have to calculate all of this data for each one of those areas. But it's amazing because once you know the data, a good picture will start to emerge. So I think if you're thinking about doing something with your real estate, maybe you're thinking about buying, selling, or maybe perhaps even investing, then having this data with you will make you so much more powerful. Uh, People oftentimes come to me for tax advice. They want to know, how to solve their capital gain problem. They want to know, how should they structure a transaction. They want to know, how do I do asset protection, or how do I set up a company. All those kind of questions. But very rarely people come to us asking us about a particular area. What a lot of people don't realize is that I have access to a lot of different tools where I pull data to help me make some more educated decisions. I mean, we are living in 21st century. Whoever has the more data, that's the guy who is going to win. Now, it doesn't mean that you can make all the decisions based on the data. I mean, sometimes the interpretation of the data could be wrong, but I think at the very least you can eliminate a lot of problems. At least that's how I feel. So I think having this data will definitely make you so much smarter. So first of all, if you're coming to Wealth Summit and you want to know about a particular area, then all you got to do is put in zip code here. So I'm going to give you the link for this Google sheet. Just enter your zip code, enter your area. Just do me a favor, take a look, make sure nobody else has already requested that area. That would make life a little bit easier because I don't want to redo this work again and again. Like I said, it has to be done manually. So that's the key part here. All right. So what kind of data we are looking at? So I'm going to walk you through that today. Obviously, in my consultation calls, I go even deeper into the areas so that way you understand what you're buying and why you're buying and what kind of risk you're taking. Because a lot of time we don't know. When people, let's say if you're thinking about buying a property, I don't know, let's say in Colorado, do you really know what's happening in Colorado? How have things been historically? So I think having access to that data will solve a lot of those problems. Okay. So let's take a look what's happening in this area in San Jose right now. So I'm going to start with the basic, which is the home value in San Jose. Right now, they're sitting at $1.4 million. If I take a look at back in 2022, they were at $1.3 million. So looks like in 2 years, it went up by $100,000. And if I look at 2020, so about 4 years ago, they were sitting at $1 million. So from 2020 to 2024, in roughly almost 5 years now, because we are almost towards the end of so well 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so almost 25, right? So $400,000 growth right there. 2019 we saw a little bit of a dip and so forth, but that's the case. Now, in my opinion, the home values are growing way faster than the incomes are. So if I take a look at, so this number is actually year over year, so I should probably write that. But I don't think we should really care so much about that because most people don't buy a property because they want to see a growth over 1 year. So maybe we don't really even need this number, but if you're curious, uh, market has rewarded almost 11% return in San Jose in last 12 months. So that's pretty good. But the market is kind of overvalued in my opinion, and that number is coming out based on average value to income ratio. So right now, so I should probably let's take a look at right here, value to income ratio. I'm on my other screen. I'm pulling up some historical data here, so we can see that right now that ratio is sitting at 8.4. 8.29. Now, problem is since 2014 till now, market has been up, way above than average. In 2008 to 2014, market was negative. So if you would have purchased something in 2007, 2006, 2005, um, and all the way to 2015. So for those 10 years, you would have not made any money in this market. The real estate would have not produced any results for you. But in the next 10 years, the market has done very well, especially from 2014 to 2024. So first 10 years bad, next 10 years really, really good. Um, so I don't know if we can really take a look at an average because of that reason. It's like always, you know, uh, what we want to do is we want to see how the income has been growing. That's like the number that I prefer to look at. But if you're curious to know, if I take a look at those previous 10 years and the next 10 years, then we can see that average is about 6.9 and value to income ratio right now is 8.2. So a little bit off there. Salary needed to afford a home is almost 352,000 dollars. Now, do I have a median income here? I think, yeah, I do have it here. So maybe let me take that out and I'm going to move this right here. Okay. Because I think it's important to know that this is the number you need to be able to buy a house, but this is the number. And remember, everything right here is averages. So on average, this is what you really need to buy, but most people have an income of 176. So there is an affordability crisis going on right now. If we take a look at tax rate, I was actually surprised that tax rates um, in San Jose actually has been going down. So that's a pretty good thing. People definitely love that. And I want to see, let's see, I want to also see the inventory, how the inventory looks like in this area. So I'm going to do is, okay, so let me pull that up real quick. So here's the inventory historically for San Jose market for 95035. You can see in 2018, we had almost 60% surplus for inventory. And it has been going down since then. So the problem is we have this huge crisis of lack of new homes and lack of existing inventory, and demand is just simply growing, growing, growing. So when people tell me that market can crash, people don't realize that how much pressure there is on housing market right now. So many people want the homes, but they haven't been able to buy it because they have been literally priced out. And we can see that since 2018, we really haven't had a surplus of inventory. In matter of fact, even today, it's negative 16%. Although I think last year was even worse, almost negative 40%. So keep that in mind. So obviously that means we have a lot of people who are not able to buy the home. So what about all the people who are trying so hard to sell the homes? Are they able to sell it? Are home sellers giving any discount right now? Well, back in 2022, there was a lot of discounts. Almost 20% of the properties in San Jose were on discount. In 2023, that number went down to 15, and 2024, that discount number is only 8.6. So very, very low. People are really not giving discount. So, not necessarily a good thing. Okay. So let's say rental rates in the market has been steadily going up. Back in 2005, the rates, so you can see, so almost, let's say, 20-year period. Back in 2000, and if you want to be, yeah, about 2005, rents in San Jose were roughly about $2,000 a month on average. Right now, we're sitting at 3907. So you can see in almost 20 years, the rent has more than doubled. So if you're thinking about, if you want to make some projection based on that over the next 20 years, maybe you're planning for your retirement or whatnot, then keep an eye out for that, what the rent would look like. Some of you guys are thinking, what if I retire in the next 20 years and you buy a property right now that has a rent of $4,000? Could that be $8,000 by the time you retire. Possibly. So keep that in mind. I think that number comes in quite handy. Now, if you're an investor, then you probably care about your cap rate. So cap rate has been going down quite a bit. I think 2011 was the best time where you had a really good cap rates. But in Bay Area, cap rates are typically not that good. But 21, 22, 23, market was almost the same, roughly about 2.9%. But right now the cap rate is sitting at 2.6. So as we all know, interest rates are way higher than the cap rates, and that's one of the reasons why investors are actually not buying anything in here. Um, is the rent growing? Are people paying more rent? Yes. But when I look at the historically for rent numbers, I see they always kind of go up and down, up and down. So rent is a little bit not that stable per se, but you can expect about 3% growth in rent. That's what's been the average over the longer time. How about vacancy rate? Are people just leaving their homes empty? Is that happening in the San Jose? So let me take a look. Um, yeah, there is some vacancy. Almost 3.38% of all the available homes are vacant, not going on rent. So still, again, not that high of a number. But see, knowing that number is extremely important, especially if you're thinking about buying a property somewhere else. Okay, so very good. Let's see, anything else I can tell you about that? How about housing unit growth? So I think that would be helpful as well. Like, are we able to build new homes? And the answer is 2.26% every year. So you can see the inventory is way down, almost negative 16%. And how many new homes we can build? Only 2.26. So this number and this number right here, we can see are not matching up. So either we got to build new homes or more existing homes needs to become available. So not looking too good there. Population wise, San Jose is actually not. I mean, obviously, I don't have a current data, so it's like a little bit lagging data right now. So not much help there. So, but it still kind of gives you an idea there. But I would not really depend on it until we have the new statistics that might come out, and we will know a little bit more accurate number. But as of 2022, that was the last data that was available. The population growth was negative. So this, like I said, it might be just zero at this point. But whenever I'm looking at the area, I also look at the poverty level in that area, because that helps a lot. So this is what's going to surprise you. Actually, you know what? Let me see if I can make a chart out of this. Give me 1 second, because I think this is a good data that all of you guys should know. And I'll move it up here. Let me get rid of this, and I'll move it up here so you can see it. All right. So this is the poverty level of San Jose. Back in 2011, there was 5.3%. And then the poverty started to go up 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. But what's interesting is even though we are hitting some problems, but as of the last data that was available in 2022, that number was 5.7. Now, I'm curious to see this number for 23 and 24 because, inflation really went crazy in 23 and 24. So maybe that number is higher, but we don't know. We don't have that data right now. So we'll get that later on. So you have all these numbers, and I just kind of, give you an idea of what you can expect. But now imagine if you have this data for all bunch of area, how would your decision look like for a particular property? I can always look at it even at a deeper level. If you're thinking about doing short-term rental, long-term rental, mid-term rentals, I can look at it in so many different ways. So if you're thinking about doing something in real estate and you would like to get a consultation, you can definitely reach out to me. I'll be happy to help you. I'm not a real estate agent. I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm not an investment advisor. I just give you pure data, pure numbers, so you can make your decision yourself. If you need some help with taxes, we can definitely help you out. If you're in Bay Area, you can always reach out to Sanjeev, or if you're anywhere else in the country, you can always reach out to me directly. So anyhow, if you would like to see this data for any area that you're interested in, then all I have to do is ask you to put your zip code right here, and I will give it to you on Belt Summit. I'll put it as part of your folder. It's a nice folder which will have a lot of good stuff for you. So I'll put it in there for you. So as you can see, it's a lot of data. I have to pull each one of these numbers separately to show you what's happening with the markets. And I think just for one listing, it takes quite a bit of time. And if you have 50 or 100 listings, you can imagine how long it would take. But no worries, I want to make it worthwhile for you to come to the Wealth Summit. I think if you don't take anything else away from Wealth Summit, I think this data alone is a reason for you to come to Wealth Summit. If you have any questions, you would like to talk to me, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Wealth Summit. Take care.